when you're talking, you have the breaks, you have the stutters, you have the emotion in writing or texting, and that's why we chose voice notes, because you get that rawness.
If you are constantly living in this fear of, well, what happens, what might go wrong, you'll never know what actually
You're
can
never
go right.
going to get anywhere, are you? Judgment. You don't want to be judged. You don't want to be seen as being weak, because we're men. Like, and as when we say, we're not alphas, are we?
No.
But we still don't want to be seen as weak.
A lot of the time I find that men sometimes do feel more worried to share to a woman.
Absolutely.
But actually, the irony is we want you to.
This has now given us both a clear purpose, hasn't it?
Yeah.
A real clear purpose of, we don't want people to go through what we've been through. We want men to have a space that they can confide in. Now, the thing we always say is there's no sign up, it's completely anonymous in it.
So guys, when you hear the phrase, I got back up, what does it make you think and feel?
It makes me feel that everything I've been through, how resilient I've been. Peeling back all the layers. Over the last 5 to 10 years, I kept getting back up, which has led me ultimately to being here today.
Yeah, I think it's exactly what you've just said, Danny. I think it is about that resilience, and I think what you go through shapes you as a person. And if life was that simple that you didn't get knocked down, then do you know what I mean? It's not a normal life. I think you're constantly being thrown things, and you constantly have to deal with things, and it is all about how you get back up and what you do after it, how you react to it, how you respond to it. And I think through my experiences, I've always tried to face things like that. So if I've got knocked down, I'll stand up to it and work through it rather than shy away, because it's easy just to turn the opposite direction, isn't it? Or to not do something. I've been in situations before where I've felt a bit strange and something's felt like it's knocked me down, and then I've not done that thing. My most recent point was probably not going on holiday for 10 years, because a last holiday that I went on made me feel strange. So I thought, well, if I don't go on holiday, I won't feel strange again. And then I just didn't go. And it's only recently that I've got back on it and got back up and done it, and it was absolutely fine.
See, that's a really interesting point to make, because I've recently spoken about, in my recovery, there was just something in the gym, just an exercise in the gym, which I was too scared to do, because I think when I started to do it after my surgeries and like my first set of rehab, it started to twinge things and I didn't like it. So I thought, no, I don't want to do this anymore because I'm going to injure myself. So I wasn't telling my physio, even though it was in my program, I just wasn't doing it, and I just didn't tell him. I do things like that. And I eventually spoke to him about it, and he just kind of looked at me, and he understood why, but he said, the thing is if you are constantly scared to not do something because of the outcome, like, what way is that to live? And I only recently had this conversation, because if you are constantly not doing something, he was like, this exercise is one of the things you need to do the most. And if you are constantly living in this fear of, well, what happens, what might go wrong, you'll never know what actually
You're
can
never
go right.
going to get anywhere, are you?
And never you done it, and it was absolutely fine.
Yeah, no, I love it.
Yeah.
Now I was in the gym yesterday, and I was looking around thinking, ooh, can I make the box bigger today?
So your box jumps.
Yeah, that is the box jump.
Yeah, I've got scars on my legs from this.
But that's the thing, though, isn't it? That it's often the worry about doing something that is the worst thing. I mean, there's so many things that I've not done because of the worry. Like, to be fair, just coming down to London,
The underground.
Yeah. It's like, if it was up to me, we'd have got a taxi here, because going on tubes, like, it's something that almost like stops me from doing something. But then when you do it and you come out the other side, you're like, oh, it wasn't that bad.
Yeah. I think we just live nowadays, that is the fear that this forever lingering over you, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like, you've got to dare to fail, because off the back of that, you're going to learn, you're going to grow, and you will succeed. If you're playing it safe all the time, you don't often push yourself, do you? You live in a comfort zone.
Because I think we're all so scared of rejection, or we're scared of failure, we're scared of things going wrong all the time. When ironically, if you don't put yourself out there to whatever that vulnerability might be, you'll never see these amazing miracles happen for you.
I think that, like, if you think back, I mean, I'm 48 now, and I think back to a time when there was no social media. you kind of done something and no one knew about it. But now you're scrolling through social media and you're seeing everyone's posting their absolute best life, and you don't want to be seen as that. Do you know what I mean? So you kind of get this vision that everyone is leading this perfect life. So if I try something and I fail, my life's then not going to be perfect. And for me, I mean, I don't really buy into all that kind of stuff, but for my kids that are growing up, I'm so fearful for them. That's where I get my fear from, is that they grow up and their life is led on social media. Do you know what I mean? They don't know any difference from it. And to affect someone's mentality and what is acceptance, because you're effectively looking for acceptance from strangers, aren't you? And you care more about that and how they see you than perhaps what your nearest and dearest do.
And that's probably the biggest thing that I've learned over the last few years, is to not care what people think. I'm such a people pleaser, aren't I?
Absolutely, massively.
I'll get along with everyone. I'll try and make everyone's day better, things like that. But I've been in situations where I was worried about the outcome, probably that I wanted, but I was worried about doing it in fear of what people would think. Like it cost me a relationship, like, because there was the pondering thing about moving away, the fear of moving away from my comfort zones. Didn't want to do it. I was petrified. So the easiest thing was to not do it. And then I knew that people would judge me, and I was worried about that. And that I'd say is probably my biggest learning now, is just don't care what people think. Being 44, I think that has just come with age. I'd love to have known this now when I was 18. You will make mistakes. Like if I was to talk to my younger self, you will make mistakes. You're not going to be perfect. Just do it. Do whatever feels right. Follow your heart, follow your goals, your dreams. Whatever you want to do, don't restrict yourself, because I think the biggest enemy we've got is ourselves, in it. We talk to ourselves horribly in our head, don't we? What are you wearing that for? What are you doing that for? You made a bit of a cock up of that, and like you talk to yourself horribly, don't you? And you instill all that fear within yourself.
And that is what you then, throughout your years, that's what you build up, and then that's kind of like brought us on to where Say It Loud is, because it's all these small, tiny things that you keep telling yourself over time, and these things that, like, when you doubt yourself and you say these things and you go through breakups and you don't deal with it, and they all come to a certain point where it all then becomes too much. And kind of like that's where Say It Loud is born from, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%.
Because the brain also, obviously this, I'm not a scientist and I'm not saying this medically, but I've read enough about it where the brain also can't distinguish between what you're saying out loud to other people and what you're saying to yourself. So whatever you might be saying out loud to whatever it might be or whoever it might be, you then actually will internalize that sometimes as well.
Yeah.
And you'll say it to yourself, and you'll start believing these things about yourself, even if they're just not true. But that's the thing, the negative self-talk, we've all done it, we all do it.
Oh, it's human nature, isn't it?
But it's the step, we build it up more and more and more without realizing that we're doing it. And we're our own best friend, but we are our own worst enemy at the same time.
100%.
Yeah. And like you say, I've led a fairly kind of chilled, I always call it a beige lifestyle, because I didn't have like traumas and I didn't have anything that kind of done that. But I've created what I've become 100% through my anxieties and my fears, is because I'm constantly, like, I don't do it as much as I used to, but I went through a stage of analysing every feeling in my body. Like if I felt something wasn't right, I'd then overanalyze that bit, and I'd be like, oh, right, that's the start of a crash. That's anxiety coming on. That's me like going to freak out. So I'd be so hypersensitive to any feeling that I had, rather than just go, I feel fine, and sit here and be fine. I'd search for that feeling. And again, when I vocalize this, to me it sounds crazy, but I constantly did it. Like I'd wake up in the morning and I'd go, right, first thing I think is, how do I feel? And if I felt good, I'd be like, but if I felt off, then I was going to be like, well, that
day was ruined.
That's my day gone. That's my day ruined.
Yeah.
But that's me telling myself. So why can't I wake up and go, you feel fine? Why do I look for that? Why am I more comfortable with that negative than I am with going, yeah, you're fine?
If you tell yourself you're going to have a good day, you're going to have a good day, aren't you?
Yeah.
If you say it's going to be a bad day.
Oh, if it was that easy.
Well, 9 times out of 10, you've got a school running that does turn into a bad day, doesn't it? But mindset's everything, isn't it? I think even everyday work, everyday life, sporting arenas, things like that, your mindset. And I think that's why people work so closely now with psychologists, with therapists, because we don't do enough work on our own mind.
No, we don't. And then obviously we'll talk about Say It Loud, but I want to just briefly talk about both of your stories, and then how and why Say It Loud came about. So Danny, do you want to start?
Yeah, so for me, I'll let you lead from the actual start of it, but I'll just, for what has led me to be again in this position, the last 5-6 years, I was a bit like Johnny, I had a beige upbringing, lovely upbringing, brilliant, like out every night, football, street lights, jumpers for goalposts, that, really happy. Last 5-6 years have just been difficult. I lost my granddad just before COVID. COVID then kicked off, and the isolation, the loneliness sort of thing kicked in. Now, my dad was put in a coma for 31 days with COVID. And while all this was going on, I was at home looking after my mum that had dementia and Parkinson's. And while this was going on, I was homeschooling my daughter and I was having to juggle a job as well. And when I think of that, just
crazy, isn't it?
Like when you say get back up and stuff like that, I don't know how I got through that. I really don't. Since he obviously came out of the coma, but then sadly we lost my mum. So these last few years have just been the most challenging I've ever been through, and I probably will ever go through. So I think losing my mum has sort of taught me that will be the hardest thing I've gone through, and it's probably the hardest thing everybody's going to go through in their life, unless it's your child, which you don't ever want to live through. But the daily battles, the struggles, the getting out of bed, having my daughter, I've got to get out of bed. So you just, I hate saying that because it's such a thing that men say to each other. You just got to crack on. And as somebody that was outgoing, sociable, I'm putting a mask on every day. Not so much now, but in this whole period, I'm all right. I've got a team to manage. I've got to look after my mum. I've got to make sure dad's all right because he's grieving as well. I've got to make sure the daughter's all right. And you're just juggling all these things. And I think this is where we really sort of connected on it. And we did work together. And we used to speak about stuff. But I don't think we ever really knew what was going on under the surface. Do you know what I mean? I don't think we ever touched on this, have we?
No, absolutely.
We worked together a lot and we both knew we were quite anxious people, worriers, overthinkers. But thinking about it now, we've never spoke about it, have we? I don't think we really knew what was going on underneath all of these layers.
I think you get like different guys, don't you? Like in our office, you'll get like alpha males, and then you'll get people like me and Danny who aren't perhaps alpha. And then you have that connection, and like you say, you kind of know you're on a level that you know something's right. But again, we still weren't saying, "Oh, are you okay, mate?" and like talking about that. There was just a connection there that we knew there was something that wasn't, or that we had in common.
Yeah, 100%. I've never been that open. That's just come out of that.
But where I came from, so again, completely normal upbringing. Like parents stayed together, brother and sister, loved them to pieces, family holidays, house, all that kind of stuff. I think when I've kind of analysed it, mine goes back to my ever first job, which was at McDonald's. I worked at McDonald's because my sister worked there, my brother worked there. And at a very young age, I mean, I was 16 then, you are taught about like cross-contamination and bacteria and stuff. And I think something in my brain just really hung on to that, because I then had like almost like food phobias. I was a lot of guys like take the mick at me because I'm a bit weird with germs, but that stems from there, that I knew what happened if you were cross-contaminating things and how you get food poisoning and stuff. And that, again, it kind of sat dormant in me, but just made me wary of what I was doing. I then had a bit of a lifestyle like Danny's, going out, doing all sorts of things and what have you, and had a great time doing it. But then again, I then went on holiday to the Dominican with an ex-girlfriend, and my germs, food phobia, illness phobias were then coming to light, because I'm like, oh God, I'm going to an all-inclusive place. I'm going to have to eat food that's been set out. And it probably sounds like really daft, because everyone's probably going, oh yeah, all-inclusive, I just gorge. But I was freaking out. Yeah, I was freaking out. And like, I remember getting to the airport, got off the plane, and I had like, it's called disassociation. And everything I looked at wasn't real. And you look through your own eyes and it's almost like you're looking through a camera lens. Everything's delayed. And I had no idea what anxiety was. I mean, I was probably 20 odd years ago. So I didn't know what anxiety was. So these feelings that I've got in a foreign country, I'm thinking, this is not right. My girlfriend at the time was very headstrong, and I couldn't say anything to her because it was just like, get on with it, like let's go on holiday. So I remember being in the minibus, and I remember it like it was yesterday. I'm in the minibus driving to the hotel, and I'm just looking at the floor because it's the most normal part that I could find, and everything was going on around me. She was going, oh, look at the scenery, and I'm like, no. And I'm like, I've got to just look here because everywhere else just feels weird. And I'd done the holiday, and honestly, it was living hell for 2 weeks because I'm processing feelings and thoughts and everything that I don't know what I'm trying to process. And I had one day where I felt semi-normal and I felt hungry. So there was a pizza place, so I gorged this pizza. I was like, oh, eat as much as you can. However, the pizza that I was eating, I thought was cheese and tomato. This is great content, by the way. the pizza I was eating, I thought was cheese and tomato, but it was actually chicken. So I'm like, I don't eat chicken because I freak out about it being undercooked. I'm really sounding weird, aren't I?
No.
Anyway, so just humour me. So then I'm back to square one because I've eaten chicken that's been sat under heat lamps, and learning about that at McDonald's, I know that is like route one food poisoning. So I'm freaking out even more. So anyway, cut a long story short, I do the holiday. It's awful. I get home. I then live a semi-normal life, but just with my weirdness of not eating stuff that I don't want to, but I could live with that. Then 2013, what happened then makes all that look like a walk in the park. It was strange because I went to bed, like just normal, like as a normal guy would do, went to bed, kissed the kids, got into bed, went to sleep, and then woke up the next morning and it was, I mean, I almost went somewhere else because I always explain it as a switch being flicked. Something happened to me in that 8 hours where I then woke up suicidal, and I woke up with the worst depression. I mean, people say, oh yeah, I'm depressed, but when you've had depression, and if you know what depression is, you know it is the worst feeling. And when you've got a back, like I keep knocking this. When you get a backache, you like move yourself, don't you? And you find a bit of comfort, or your legs, like probably not in your case, but when you have an accident or something, you can find a moment of respite. Anxiety and depression just didn't get off me. Every room I went into, every place I sat, everything I thought, like every time I woke up, it was just on you. And honestly, I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. It was the worst debilitating thing I've ever had. Couple that with the anxiety, with sounds being overly sensitive, and my skin was standing on end, and I couldn't listen to my kids. Like, that's quite normal for me, but no, I couldn't. It was the noise. It was the noise was just too much, and I just said to my wife, I'm gonna have to go. Something's not right. And I remember just walking out of the house and thinking, because I like walk and you kind of clear your head, don't you? But it wasn't, and I was walking around and thinking, right, something's drastically wrong here. And I remember going down we got this little track around the back, and there's no cars, etc., and it's usually quite peaceful. And I'm walking down there, and for some reason, I was looking at these trees, and I was thinking, no, I reckon that would take my weight if I was to hang myself. And these weren't like normal thoughts. This was like, that could do that. And that's the scary thing, because anyone can think anything. You can sit here now and think, oh, I'm a multimillionaire, or like, I'm going to go out and like skip down the road, just stupid things. But to actually have a thought that you believe was the most, and I remember it so like clearly, it was the most scariest thing ever, because I'm thinking about killing myself. Yesterday I was fine. So I then rocked up onto my mum's doorstep, because being in Norfolk, my family always lives close to each other. So I rocked up to my mum's, and I just remember bursting out into tears and just not knowing what to do. So my mum is quite like, she's quite old school, bless her. She's like probably not from an era where this happens. So she just gave me a hug, which is all I needed at the time. And then for someone just to listen to what I was going through. Instantly got on the phone to the doctors, and my final straw in anything is medication. I don't like taking it because I like to feel in control of myself. But I would have, I'd have took anything. I'd have took anything at that point in time to get rid of what I was feeling. And I look back to it, and I don't actually remember speaking to a doctor. I spoke to a receptionist, and the receptionist must have spoken to a doctor. It's a bit hazy, and said, we need to get you on sertraline. And I was like, yep, let's do it. And I remember going to the doctors, getting sertraline. But before that, just rewind back to my mum's. She then had to go out. I then was phoning around anyone to help me. Things that didn't pop into my mind were things like Samaritans. I don't know why at that point when I was in a crisis, why I didn't think of those guys. I just done what everyone else done and just 111'd it. Spoke to someone there, and they were like, right, well, what we need to do is get, and they weren't listening to what I was saying. They were like, right, we need to, and it's
a process.
It was so much of a process, and it was, I could almost hear them like ticking the boxes. Like, this is what you do. This is what you've got. This is what we need to get you on. And I just wanted someone to go, mate, it's all right. Like, just someone to understand it. And I got off the phone to them. They'd booked me into these courses and stuff. And I got off the phone to them, and I remember sitting on the edge of the bed, and I saw this dark void in front of me, that there was no help. And again, like, that was terrifying, because I'm thinking there's always going to be someone there. Like, you break your leg, you get it put in plaster, you go and see a doctor or something, and they sort it. But this wasn't. This was like, you're on sertraline. That's going to take 6 to 8 weeks to kick in. Off you go. And honestly, that was balmy.
Then when you finish that, you're on your own, aren't you?
Oh, you are.
You're on your own. I've been through well-being services, things like that. Again, amazing things these people offer. But it did feel like a tick box exercise. It was difficult. It was impersonal.
And you don't blame them for it.
No,
because, you know what I mean? Like,
absolutely.
they're overworked. But from that point, it was like, I either go back to the trees, and again, not meaning to sound dark, but it was either that way or that way. And luckily, I've got people around me. My wife is incredible. My kids, like, as much as a pain in the ass they are they are amazing. Do you know what I mean? Like, they're at that age. They're 6 and 9, and they're at that age where they just love their dad. So I could invest in that and really, like, take their love and what they were giving me to almost like try and forget about that. But I then went on to CBD? CBT.
Cognitive behavioural therapy.
Yeah, that one. Went on that. I was one of over 50 people on this class. And I just couldn't do it. I couldn't buy into it. So I dropped off halfway through, and still to this day, no one ever followed me up and said, are you okay? Like, what happened? And for me, I just thought, well, surely they're going to check back in and go, well, should we try something else? And then it was literally just figure it out for yourself.
It's like when I was on it, actually, the lady that I was sort of paired up with, the therapist, she was brilliant. She was good. And then at the end of it, I was like, well, can we continue this? No, I'm sorry, that's the end of it. Yeah. Or can I pay you to continue it? No, I'm sorry, you have to go through the company.
Yeah.
And like, you then back to square one. Like, these little hour slots that we had, I don't know if they were like every 3 weeks or something.
It's not enough, is it?
It's not enough, but just talking, and even talking now, just helps, doesn't it?
Oh, it does. And that is that, like, coming on to where Say It Loud was born. That was born in that dark spot, because I was like, right, I'm either not going to get through it, or I'm going to get through it. And what I then didn't want is, I didn't want another lad to feel how I felt and just feel so alone. So it was almost like therapy for me to be able to start something and give me a purpose. And I think that is so important, that guys find a purpose, because you do get to a point in life where I think you've done everything. Like, you've tried everything. You've been out, you've done this, you've done that. You've got to a stage where you've almost, like...
I think we're trained from about 16 to know what we want to do. We should know what we want to do. We're going through exams, aren't we?
Yeah.
You're studying, but what do you want to be when you grow up? Well, I don't know. And you're made to feel that you should know.
Yeah.
You should follow a certain path. I'm 44 and I still don't. I'd still love to be a footballer for Norwich. Do you know what I mean? That's still what the boy in me clings on to. You are?
Not your hamstrings.
Not my
Well, hey, you never know. We'll drop it in there. You know, you never know who's watching.
get it. But like, I think it's drummed into us that you should know what you want to do. You should be married by a certain age. You should have children. You should live this perfect life. When actually, very few do. And those that do are lucky that they do that.
Yeah.
You know, but
I agree.
it's just, this has now given us both a clear purpose, hasn't it?
Yeah.
A real clear purpose of, we don't want people to go through what we've been through. We want men to have a space that they can confide in. You know, I think the thing we always say is there's no sign up. It's completely anonymous in it.
Yeah.
Anyone can come and leave a voice note. If you're not ready to do that, you can listen to the voice notes.
Better explain what the platform is then.
Shall we? Let's move on from that then.
Sorry. So what Danny's saying is, I'll just explain a little bit about what the platform is. So Say It Lad was born from that darkness, and what I didn't want it to be is, I didn't want it to be a mental health platform, even though it is. I wanted it to be something that was really approachable, because there are hundreds and hundreds of platforms out there which are all very similar, and everyone does something slightly different, and that's where you need to find your people. But I didn't find any of those appealing. So what I wanted it to be, I wanted it to be something that, like, it was almost like a chat down the pub. It was just had that vibe of just not any kind of green ribbons or any kind of like mantras or anything like that. I just wanted it to be...
We're not big on statistics.
No,
we're not
just lads,
motivational quotes, that kind of thing.
just lads that go to the football, that speak to their mates, that in WhatsApp groups and having a laugh and banter and that kind of approach. So we built the website, and it was very dark aesthetic with like kind of like built on me tattoos and oversized t-shirts. But it was that kind of approach, which I thought that was what I needed. I didn't want to go like, that's why I probably didn't go to Samaritans, because I wanted a mate to put an arm around me without telling that mate, like without putting something.
I think
on
also like as good, everybody that does something to support people are fantastic.
Amazing, yeah.
You can't criticise anybody that's wanting to make a difference. But as a lad, when I think of Samaritans, I don't think of somebody in our demographic going to them. Do you know what I mean? To me, it's that I feel as though it's at the end of the line.
Yeah, it is.
Older people, like we've been to events, we do stand out like a sore thumb, don't we? We really do. But it's that for me is the end point, and we want to get to a place where we're stopping people from getting to that point.
And realistically, sometimes whoever you are, you said it as well, you just need a hug. Like it's a real thing. Sometimes you actually just need someone to hold you.
Yeah, and understand.
Because the feet, no, but seriously, like
100%.
physical contact is huge.
Yeah.
You just need someone to hold you, whoever they are, and just listen.
Yeah.
And I think that's also something as well, where sometimes you don't actually want feedback, you don't want responses, you don't want advice. You just need someone to listen to you.
Exactly. And that, again, that is exactly what I wanted. And that's, again, part of Say It Loud, because what we do is we have anonymous voice notes. It's all done through WhatsApp. The reason for that is that we didn't have to create an app of our own. Everyone's got WhatsApp. So it was like, well, I'm going to piggyback off that. It's dead easy. Everyone leaves voice notes. What do I not want to do? I don't want to have to go onto another website and sign in, because again, I'm thinking of me at that crisis point on my mum's spare bed with the darkness in front of me. Do I want to put my email address in?
Fill all your details.
Do I
No,
want
and
to verify?
To be completely honest with you, even when I'm signing up for like websites or whatever it might be, as soon as I have to put
Exactly.
a password in, I'm gone.
Exactly.
I'm gone.
But then you verify.
I'll buy it somewhere else.
You're having to select your age range, which I hate doing now anyway. Like you're scrolling down and down and down, aren't you?
But why is it your second password never matches with your first one?
and then you've got to highlight the fire extinguishers. And I was like, no.
I go through like 10 of those
can't do
sometimes,
it.
and I'm like, I've put the bicycle
Yeah,
in.
the bicycles, the
It's not even
bridges.
a quiz, I
Oh
still
God,
think.
my ADHD brain at that point is just gone. I'm like, no, I'm not signing up.
So anyway, so we definitely didn't want that. So and again, when you're in that spot, like the last thing you want, you're not in the frame of mind to go, right, I need to think of something with a capital letter and an exclamation mark. So you're straight into the website, and you're not having to speak face to face with someone. The whole thing that we built that round was anonymity, because again, Danny's very much of an extrovert. I'm very much of an introvert. I can do things like this fine, but put me in a room with 100 people and I'm in the corner quietly. So I needed something that I was confident enough to speak out to without a stranger sitting in front of me with a clipboard writing everything down. I'm thinking, oh God, am I saying the right thing or the wrong thing? So anonymity was a huge part. And again, like what you've already covered, that we're not therapists either. We're an ear, and sometimes that's what you said.
We've been through
You just
a lot of the things that the people that come to us have been through.
yeah, but you just want someone to listen. So what we built was this anonymous space where guys that are confident enough can leave a voice note, knowing that someone will listen to it. You're always heard, but you're heard without interruption. You're heard without judgment. You're heard without anything in front of it before. So no matter what walk of life you're from, what age you are, you can literally go onto our website and you can vent anything, no matter how big or how small. We've had voice notes that have lasted 10 seconds. We've had voice notes that have lasted 45 minutes, because once a lad like ourselves starts to talk, a bit like me now, once you start to talk about something that is in you, you just keep going. And at the end of that, you feel elated because
it's a weight off your shoulders, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like someone switched a tap.
Yeah, because I do it myself, we bottle so much in, and all of a sudden it gets to like a crisis point, and then once it's out, like I'll have breakdowns because I've kept in too much too long, and then whoa, it all comes out.
Well, I look at it like phones or laptops. There's only so much that memory on that phone or that laptop can take before it crashes, and there's no difference to us. I know that if I take my dog for a walk, I don't listen to anything, I'll just walk, but I know that the same thoughts will go round and round and round again. And I analyse that. And then what I now do is I leave myself a voice note. Like, I delete it afterwards, but it's me vocal. I don't just walk the streets talking, because I'd probably be locked up. But if I'm talking into a phone with my dog, people don't look at you twice. Do you know what I mean? They just go, oh, he's just like leaving a voice note. They don't know I'm leaving it for myself. But once I've done that, I'm done then. I'm cleansed almost, and I've got it out, and I just delete it.
We do that quite between us a lot now, don't we? Just, it could be there could be a 30-second voice note, can't it, about nothing, but it's just getting it out.
Yep. And I think then with what we then have is not everyone is confident enough. So we've had, in the year that we've been going completely organically, we've had 200 published voice notes. Now, again, someone will come to us, they'll click either send or listen on our website. If they click send, it goes straight to WhatsApp. The first thing they're greeted with is a welcome message, which is like hello, etc. It also comes up there with our signposting. So if it is a crisis, we signpost to relevant charities, etc. And then it also asks if we're okay to share that voice note. We don't put anything on if we haven't got the okay to do it. So it's just a little green tick. That then comes through. I always reply to the first one because I feel rude if I don't. If someone so I'll always just introduce. They will then go on to leave more voice notes. We're getting guys that are doing it daily now, because that's, again, part of their daily output is just doing that. With the leaving part of the voice note, there's also the listening part. Now, there's no sign-ins, no logins for anything like that. People can just go on there, hit listen, and it goes to our page, which is called The Wall, and on there are the 200 voice notes, just dropped in there, unedited, nothing, no names, just a title and a play button. And then guys can listen to that. And again, if I was in that spot and I knew about my website, then I could have heard someone go, do you know what, mate? I've recently been through this. It is tough, but you will get through it. Or their story of what they've done and what their next steps were. Like, if I could have told my story then, my hope is that someone listening to me can then go, oh, Christ, he's been through it. It's like, it's okay, it's safe to do so.
We don't claim to have all the answers, do we? But
absolutely not.
The good thing about The Wall is, if you're struggling from something specific, you can go on there and listen, and you might think, oh, someone else is going through that. This is what they did to get around that. Oh, I feel like that. I'm not the only one that's maybe bottled it in. And if I'd have had something like that when everything was going on for me, I think that would have helped massively, because I didn't have that outlet. I didn't have that, nobody was allowed to come around the house because we were all in lockdown, weren't we? And if I was to have that would have just been a godsend. And the feedback that we've had from it has just been incredible, hasn't it?
Well, we've had, out of those 200 voice notes, they've been streamed over 15,000 times. So it just goes to show you how many people are more comfortable to listen than to talk to start with.
Yeah.
But then we often get guys that say, I've listened to a few voice notes, and then they leave theirs.
I'm ready now. Sort of.
So it's like almost like that helps them get into that mindset of, well, if they can do it, I can do it.
I know it's hard to talk out loud because I've been there before, but why do you two think it is?
I think it's like, I think over time, for me, I became a master of disguise. Like I was always like, push it there, whack it there. I don't need to talk about it. Someone says, "You okay?" Yeah, I'm fine, absolutely fine. And that becomes like your instant trigger when you really want to say, "No, I'm not okay," but you don't, because it's easier not to, and it's easier. Like we'd always walk around and work and go, "All right, mate," and then yeah. Like if someone had turned around and gone, "Well, actually, no, I'm not," and then gone into it, you'd be like, "Oh my God." Do you know what I mean? So that's what I thought. So I'd just go, "Yeah, absolutely fine."
I think there's things like, especially with men, and using it probably from my own experiences, judgment. You don't want to be judged. You don't want to be seen as being weak, because we're men. Like, and as when we say, we're not alphas, are we?
No.
But we still don't want to be seen as weak.
I mean, there's the fear as well. Like if you like at work, do you know what I mean? Like you speak out about your mental health issues, and you think, we've had guys that have in the construction industry that have spoken up about mental health, and then they've almost been pushed out of that role. Which
There used to be a thing, didn't it? Like people say, "I'm off with stress," and people are like, "Oh, stress."
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
get
absolutely.
over it. Get over it. And I think the big one for me would be judgment. People not accepting that you're actually feeling like that, and then you become almost selective who you confide in, don't you? And you shut people off.
And again, it's going to a place where you're not comfortable. I've had therapy. I remember going to the room and I was triggered before it even got there, because I'm like, oh God, I'm in a different place. I'm speaking to someone that I don't know. They've got a clipboard. They're judging me. So I went into therapy being fine, even to a therapist. And she was like, "Well, tell me how you feel." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm okay now." So I'm convincing the therapist that I feel okay, just so she doesn't think I'm not okay.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? How crazy is that?
But they would have known.
Well, I hope
That's why
so.
the therapist.
I think also as well, something else would be, and this is probably one of the biggest ones we hear, like what we've been able to do with the voice notes in terms of data is incredible. Like it's gold, isn't it? We call it. Is people don't want to be burdened.
So I was going to say, while you were saying everything you were saying, I agreed with all of them. And then I also thought, but what happens is when you do let because I get it, when you let your thoughts or your emotions or your feelings out, your worries out, you feel you are burdening somebody else.
And
even your best friends.
Absolutely.
Sometimes I'll say something to my best friend and I'll go, "I'm so sorry."
Yeah.
And she's like, "Why are you saying sorry?"
Yeah.
I'll do anything. for everyone.
But we both do it. She
Yeah.
does it to me, and I'll go, "But why are you saying sorry?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
We still sometimes feel like a burden.
It's all the time. Like we hear that word so much, don't we? We don't want to be a burden to our parents. We don't want to be a burden to our friends, our partners, and like, I'll help anyone. I'll do anything for anyone.
But
One of my weaknesses is not asking for help.
But it
because
comes
I
back
don't
to
want to be that burden.
you trying to be strong for everyone, isn't it? And you think, like, if my wife's having a tough day or my kids are having a tough day, they don't want to. I feel like they don't want to look at their dad not having a great day. Do you know what I mean? So you kind of like go, well, and you take on everyone's problems. And I think through everyone constantly saying, "Speak to your mates, speak to your mates." If someone spoke to me when I was in that spot, I'm not the right person to speak to. Do you know what I mean? So again, it's just knowing who to speak to and keeping quiet about it. But again, with the platform and it being completely anonymous, guys don't have to worry about that burden, or they don't have to worry about who's judging them or what job they're in and who's going to go, "You know what, he's talking about it." Do you know what I mean? Because they can just come on there and just let it all out.
Yeah.
And that's the irony, though, about speaking out loud, is that most of the time you're actually not judged and you're
You're
not
not.
burdened. But again, it all goes down to all of our own fears.
Oh.
Look, don't get me wrong. I'm not. There are some people in the world that will, because that's just who they are. But then if that ever does happen, you learn very quickly, okay, I'm never going to talk to them about it. But then don't let that stop you from finding somebody else.
We're not actually that important. Like, people don't think about us all day.
I've heard this.
But we feel that if I'm going to say this, then they're really going to judge me. But they don't care.
No.
Yeah.
Like, people don't care. We're not in their thoughts all day long. Like, we're not important. But
And if someone loves you, whether it's a best friend, a partner, family member, and you do go to share something to them, they want to help, or they want to listen, or they just want to hold you,
Absolutely.
or they will go, "Right, let's fix this. Do you want to do this or that?" Or like, they actually do want to be there for you.
And 9 times out of 10, I feel like that. I've been through that.
Yeah.
And you then got that other connection.
Well, we've found that. I mean, again, through being a very much of an introvert, there's so many people at work that I've never spoken to in our day job. So obviously we do this in our spare time. But then we're getting people come up to us and going, do you know what? I felt like that. And it's crazy how many doors it's opened to other people coming up to us. And people that you'd never even think of it. I reckon it's way more popular or way more common for a guy to not be okay than to actually be okay. And I could probably name one person that I know that's like spot on. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not had any mental health issues at all. Yeah. But yet everyone else that I speak to, they're like, yeah, I feel like that. I feel like even people that I'd never even put into like that kind of box, if you will.
And I think the thing for us is, right, we're just doing what we're doing, but this is the one thing that sort of takes you back a bit. It's like you walk around the supermarket and someone's going to come up to you and there'll be brilliant stuff what you're doing. Amazing. Like, I've been on the website, I've done this, I've done that, I'm currently going through this, and they'll open up to you. I've been at football and I've been pulled aside by people at football and they're just pouring out, they're just being vulnerable to me, and it's just mad, isn't it?
And that's all it's ever been, is just start a conversation. That's why, like, when we wear the t-shirts and stuff, like, it doesn't have a message of mental health on it. Like, we almost want to make mental health cool. So it is easy to talk. It is people wearing stuff. It is like, do you know what I mean? Like, someone would wear it and go, oh, upset lad, what's that? And then you can go into it. It doesn't need to have like the message emblazoned across it. And trying to approach it in every single way that didn't work for me, and trying to tick off those boxes, because I'm not unique. There's people like me with the same approach. And I think if we can reach those people, and like, it's a bit cliche, but just to help one person, then that's a success for us. But again, we've had looking at data, because we're both a bit data freaks. I love it. Like, and seeing where we've reached in the world. I mean, we're getting messages from New Zealand, and like, you think
Cambodia,
but from an idea that
I know.
Like,
I've had the same with the show.
Yeah, it's
listeners
crazy,
from
isn't
the
it?
most remote places of the world.
It just blows your mind, because you think an idea that you had, like, is just grown, and then people going from New Zealand going, oh mate, it's amazing, and like, what? You're in New Zealand? And
it's an idea that you didn't kind of wake up and go, right, I really need to think of an idea to it, just because of your own experiences as of mine. It just became over time.
It happens.
One thing led to another, which led to another.
And I think you've said before, things happen for a reason.
I
don't think if I'd have had that crash, and I'm a huge believer of your life is planned out for you. So that mental, like, worst time of my life happened for a reason. And the reason is that this has come from it. And I know that we have made guys speak up. We've had guys that haven't spoke out for 15, 20 years. And
we've had people come out about their sexuality on a voice note because they're so afraid of telling people.
But they've told us this. And you think, well, if I had to go through that to help a guy that's bottled something up for 15, I mean, I only kept mine in for a few years, do you know what I mean? But to keep something inside you for 15 or 20 years, when there's been platforms around that you've not used to open up, that's way worth me going through what I went through to help one other person. Funny story for you. Not a funny story, but a story.
We all say that, don't we?
Well, funny story
when it's not a funny story.
Oh, I think mine are funny.
Oh, he's hilarious.
And then you'll have me bawling in tears. That's not funny.
and they're definitely not funny. But I was invited to do a music festival, and it was strange because it was really early days of doing it. I kind of rocked up by myself, didn't I? Like, made a stand that I thought was really good, and I'm thinking I'm going to get loads of people come over. But what I realised, that being at a music festival, talking about mental health with guys that are wearing a mask, I literally stood there twiddling my thumbs for the first day. No one came over. People looked, but guys didn't come over because they didn't want to be the guy that went over to a mental health place. So that was a quick learning curve. And then next day I took some t-shirts back. That was a bit of a crick, wasn't it? Next day I took some t-shirts back, and people came over because they had something that they could see. And again, that's what sparks the conversation. But I remember this guy, he'll probably watch this podcast, to be fair. He was built like a behemoth. He was like right in front of me, and he walked over, and it was almost like Moses. He parted the crowd, and he walked, and he was covered in tattoos, huge guy, walked straight towards me, and I'm thinking, this ain't gonna work. And he said to me, "Oh, what's all this about then?" And I explained, and 10 minutes later he was crying because he was like, I've found somewhere that I can speak and I can talk. And honestly, that was such a moment for me and the platform that this is what it was built for. It was built for guys that haven't found their space, haven't found their tribe. Do you know what I mean? And he did then start speaking out, and we still speak to each other now. Do you know what I mean? Because it sparked that conversation, which allowed him to then open up.
Again, I'm just going to expand on that because I think it's such a good thing that you've said.
Thanks.
Well, that's all right. You're welcome. A lot of things are put out in front of us in public places, expecting people to jump forward at them. That anything that anyone does for this kind of thing is amazing. I'm not knocking it, but you see a lot of things happening at football stadiums where they'll have a little mental health stand. People don't want to walk over that.
No, they don't.
People don't want to walk over and be vulnerable and be seen there. You know, they lads like us want the anonymity, don't they? Which is why we've actually been really fortunate with one of the things we've done with Southampton. They give us free rein, don't they, to go into the stadium and whack QR stickers down into the safe standing areas, and the data that we're getting from that.
It's because we approached, because we've only been going for a year. Do you know what I mean? So a lot of people look at us and go, "Well, you're not that big," and it's this day and age, isn't it? So we approached lots of different football clubs in the EFL, trying to get through to people in the Premier League. It's so hard. Do you know what I mean? Like, how do you contact them? How do you get through to them? That's not my skill. That's not our skill, is it? Like, it's not to trying to find that right person that you need to speak to that understands it, that then buys into it. But Southampton, as soon as we messaged them, they were like, "Do what you want. It's amazing." And they were so generous in everything. They said, "Come down to the club. You can put stickers where you want." When we did, we drove down there, took stickers. We were given a stadium tour, which was amazing, and they believed why we were doing it because, again, going back to what Danny said about guys, we are the masters of disguise. We will hide stuff. So the last thing we're going to do is, if there's a mental health first aid at a football match, we're going to break away from our mates who are on the lash.
We've been on the lash all day.
And go, actually, boys, do you mind if I just go and speak to the first aider? And then our mates to go, "Yeah, of course you can, mate. Off you go." Like,
Well, you get dogs abuse.
oh, you would?
Yeah.
But you'd expect it.
See, even as a woman,
But that's what we all expect people to do, and you see these
which is what's sad is
Oh, it is.
It's like you see Premier League campaigns now that are starting where they're inviting people to do this, and it's great, but it is so frustrating.
But I have like guy friends, and they say very similar stuff. They can't share sometimes specific things because all their friends are going to just rinse them.
Okay.
And it's that judgment.
But
people
they're going to rinse them, and I'm just like,
you expect it because it's banter. Do you know what I mean? Like that, and it'd almost be like if they said, "Well, go on and off you go," you'd almost be like, "What?"
Oh God.
So what we then did with Southampton is we said, look, the best way of overcoming that is to put it in front of the guy. So we were going to put them on the backs of the seats, but when we got there, they actually said to us, the seats are quite low. How about the safer standing rails? And we were like, well, amazing. So the guy will literally sit down. We space them out. All he has to do is sit down. He sees a Say It Loud QR code sticker in front of him. He scans it. That is it. He just reaches out and scans it. Doesn't have to visit the site then, but he's done it. Whether he then goes home the next day or the day after that, or just sees it and goes home and Google it, that's the barriers that we've completely taken away. So there isn't, he doesn't have to go looking for anything. We even thought about, like, we tried posters, but posters are so old school. Like, people walk past and they look and then they go.
We were getting proposed toilets, weren't we?
We were. But to be fair,
and people do pay attention.
hey, I read stuff in there.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's not a bad
If
thing.
there's something on the wall,
Absolutely.
to be fair,
Yeah.
I read it.
Exactly.
Yep.
But you walk past the poster in a concourse or something.
Yeah.
So by putting it there, we were like, well, they're never going to agree to that, but they did.
Yeah.
So we put it there, and it was like amazing. And again, we've said to them, look, we can tell you what your fans are feeling. We can tell you what they're going through. Again, it's completely anonymous data, and we're not like using that data for anything but to help them address things in the right way. And again, we keep mentioning data, and what we have been able to do with our voice notes is analyze all those voice notes. We can then tell industry experts, therapists, whoever, the language that they use in advertising campaigns, in marketing departments, isn't what guys are using.
Yeah.
Like, we can tell you that 86% of the guys that left voice notes for us wouldn't use Samaritans at that point because they don't think that the problem that they've got is big enough. And what Danny said about us getting in at the start of the journey, why do we need to wait for a crisis before we say, go and speak to Samaritans? But having then looked into that and kind of my obsessive nature of just going in on everything, when you look at all these mental health platforms, everyone signposts people back towards Samaritans.
Do they?
So you've got a vicious circle of guys going, well, I need to speak out, I need to get help. Who am I going to speak to? Oh, I'm not ready to speak to Samaritans, and then go back in their shell because everyone goes speak to them. To be honest, we did at the start because it's like you think, well, we signpost people back towards Samaritans, and then I thought, well, we're kind of telling people to do what we know what people aren't doing. So we've been able to use our own data and signpost to things that are way more useful.
And we can look at age,
Yeah.
can't we?
Honestly, we've picked so
Keywords,
much from it.
There's just so much stuff.
But to see, like, you look at ad campaigns and websites, they're going, well, if you've got depression or gambling problems or anxiety, it's box.
It's if you've got.
Yeah.
It's like, well, I don't know if I've got.
Well,
that.
exactly. But what we're also,
But I know how I feel.
that's telling you you've got something.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
but what we're also seeing is the guy that's got gambling addiction also suffers from anxiety and is depressed as well. So he's then thinking, well, which box do I fit? And almost like switches off because it's just one. It's one-on-one.
And that's the thing, is it doesn't necessarily have to be like you just have this, you just have that. When it comes to your mind and your emotions and your feelings, you can have a lot of it going on at the same time. You can have depression and anxiety and OCD. You can have it all in different ways going on inside of you.
But that's when you then look at these like other websites that just target that one area. And it's great. Do you know what I mean? It will resonate with some people, but we are almost screaming out to these places and saying, look, what we can tell you the correct language to use. We can tell you that a guy's not saying, oh, I'm depressed. Can I swear on here? No. Okay. he's not saying I feel depressed. He's saying I feel not great. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
So those words, I feel depressed, doesn't resonate to a guy. It's, oh, I've had a rubbish day. Do you know what I mean? Like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So we need to address men like us in a way that
Men understand.
we understand exactly right. Yeah.
And a lot of things we do look at, we have to do some research, don't we? We look at what people are doing. Like we'll even sign up to stuff ourselves just to see how we're treated. And a lot of the feel you get is it's just a tick box for companies to put on their website that they're dealing with mental health. They're trying. It's like a terms and conditions page. You read it. Anybody in that mindset does not want to sit there. I struggle on a good day when I'm fully functioning to sit and read stuff. So if I was at my lowest, the last thing I want to do is to sit there, read all this, select that drop-down box, select my age, put a little description about how I'm feeling.
But
I'd just close it and walk away.
But that's also with work, is that you then think, well, who's going to see that? So like work mental health spaces are very difficult because you've got to get the trust from that person. I'm not saying that I don't trust where I work, but I perhaps wouldn't use that platform to tell someone how I felt. I know they have to have well-being things there, but peer-to-peer support groups are game-changing, and they are seen as nice things to have, like Andy Mann's Club, us. There's loads of others. They should be seen as more like critical. Do you know what I mean? Like probably not the right word, but they should be seen as
They're such a better fit.
Yeah, because we're the guys and they're the guys that take people at the start of that journey. Like before it gets to Samaritans, like they should be seen as an essential, not a nice thing to have. Like find where you are comfortable and speak to them. And with what Danny's just said there about the work side of it, there's a need, but it's almost like a necessity, or we must have that. And I think proof of that is Mental Health Awareness Day. Why is it just one day where everything is peppered with mental health stuff? And then as soon as that goes, they're like, right, now what?
Well, we're nearly in July, aren't we? So it'll all be gone again.
Yeah.
Because June's Mental Health Awareness Month, and you're just seeing it everywhere, which is great. Again, raising awareness of it, but it doesn't just stop. I was feeling like it in May, April, all these months beforehand.
And I think actually you just made a really interesting point, which is it doesn't just stop. And that means in general with whatever you're going through.
Absolutely.
You might feel great for a day or a week or a month if you're, getting help, etc. But that doesn't mean, okay, great, that person's fixed, sign them off, done.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying things go on forever because that's not what it is. But the more you learn about something or you speak out about something, the more you can process and understand and work through things.
Yeah.
But it's not just going to happen overnight. It's not a quick fix. It's not a day or a month and you're done.
Yeah.
It's a journey. And if you are ready and you want to go on it, it's a hard one, don't get me wrong, but it's amazing at the same time because you can change so much about yourself.
Yeah. I think this has almost been our therapy, hasn't it? Because again, for years and years, I didn't talk about what I'd been through, the stuff that I've just told you. I'd never told anyone. Do you know what I mean? So doing what we're doing now and constantly having this conversation, we were laughing and joking on the way down here to saying that our stories now, like that, we've told them so many times, we know each other's story off by heart. Do you know what I mean? But that's great because what was a massive fear to me of talking about it, for it to becoming a reality, is now so normal that I'm almost bored of my own story because I've said it so many times. But that for me is my therapy, because now that scary story that I had, that scary story that I had is now.
Do you ever find when you're talking about it that like new parts of it pop up or memories and you're like, oh yeah, that happened?
Yeah.
Because I have that with me sometimes. Like I know what I speak about my accident and everything that happened, but then there were probably lots of parts afterwards that I don't, I haven't always spoken about out loud, and then a memory comes in and it's like the first time I could tie my shoelace on my own for the very first time because I couldn't physically reach. I couldn't get there. And that's something I don't talk about hardly ever, but then it reminds me when I even look back at that amazing triumphant moment, and I was all on my own in a room when I did that.
And you just wanted that hug.
Honestly, I would have taken that hug, and I was so happy with myself, and even to this day, it's like one of the proudest moments of my life was the day I could reach and tie a shoelace again.
Crazy. So how long was it from accident to that point?
I don't know exactly that point of when it was, but I guess with my recovery, when people ask me that question, obviously it's 2 knee surgeries, so it's a lifetime. It's still a lifetime I've got with the knee surgeries, etc. They've both been operated on. I will always keep up with my rehab and my recovery and things like that. But I guess when I put it on a time frame, I'd say about 1.5 years from the accident to, let's say, recovered in inverted commas, because 1.5 years after the accident, I ran a half marathon.
Wow.
So that's, I guess, where I put the recovery in terms. And I guess after that, it was a cool,
which is a lot.
I've accomplished this. So let's just keep this happy medium now.
How do you balance that now?
I don't.
Changing roles here. Do you want to sit here?
You know what? That's a really good question. I don't. I love training. I'm very sporty. I always have been. But I have a fine line between undertraining and overtraining.
Oh, obsessive.
It's but
all or nothing.
I'm an all or nothing
same,
girl. I'm all
same.
in or I'm not in. I'm and that's who I am in every aspect of my life. Like, if you know me, it's who I am.
I've got a paddle racket. I've got everything.
Oh yeah. I'll decide I want to start a new sport. I'll buy everything, and then that's it. It goes in. It goes in like the back of my car forever. Then it's done.
I've got a running machine in the garage. It doubles up as a clothes horse.
I started cycling. I had 4 bikes.
Yeah, he's just bought. How much of them trainers you bought? Like, he turned up at work one day and these.
I bought.
Couch to 5K.
Yeah, like I was Mo Farah.
I've played in 1 football match in my life. It was a charity football match. I went out and brought them new Adidas F50s.
Nice. But that's exactly what we do, because we want to look good, don't you? But you just become so. I'm all or nothing. Like I've boxed, I've paddled, I've ran football. Like, and when I'm in it, I am in it. Like I am the most obsessive.
Yeah. Yeah, but you know what? And I used to. That's actually an interesting point, because I used to. I wouldn't say get upset about that, but the in inverted commas being too much. And what I've learned actually is, well, that's who I am.
Yeah.
I'm not going to change. I'm not going to shrink. I'm not going to make myself feel small, even if you try to make me, because I've had that in the past.
Yeah.
When I look back, I can see where either I myself have made myself small, or people have done it because they've known they're doing it, or they haven't even realised they've been doing it.
We spoke about that on the way down, didn't we? About being in a relationship like that. and being made to feel like that and not being enough.
Yeah.
And feeling you're being too much.
Yeah, the being too much. And it's something I've learned about myself. Like, I'm an all-in person, and when I'm passionate about something, you'll get my, whatever it is, my whole heart will be in it.
Yeah.
My full passion, my full energy will be in it, because that's who I am.
Yeah.
But what happens when you then lose focus?
Oh, I'm gone.
I'm just disappointed you didn't turn up in the football boots.
I once I lose focus, it's like, what? Like, oh yeah, no, I'm done. What's the next thing?
Yeah, what's the next thing?
But does that not annoy you? Because for me, that annoys me, because I worked with a guy, and he's probably in his 60s now. He's a bird watcher. Like, I can't think of anything more boring. Do you know what I mean?
Oh.
No disrespect. I know you like bird watching.
I've got an app
But-
that tells you what the bird is.
But he would go on holiday every year, and he was so happy just to bird watch. Like, I envied him for being able to have something that he could fix on and enjoy and have a hobby. Because like you guys, I've had a million hobbies, and then I'm thinking, well, is something wrong with me? That am I searching for something that I can't find?
Yeah.
And I can't find that happiness in that thing. Is it? Am I looking too much into that? Am I? Do you know what I mean?
I think it just finds you,
Yeah.
doesn't it? Like, I've told all my mates play golf. I played football, got too old, couldn't play anymore. I really told myself I wanted to play golf, but I hate it. Can't stand it. So then I found myself playing paddle, not very well, but I now really enjoy doing that. And it's an outlet. You don't like it, do you? He's giving me that look. He's giving me...
Just play tennis.
No. But I do that now, and I enjoy that, and it's the social side of it. And I think the older we've got, things that you do need to carry that social side as well.
Yeah.
Because even having children, you said something a little while ago about your kids wanting to spend time with you. I'm probably at the other end of the scale now. She's 14, and if I look at her, I'm in trouble. Do you know what I mean? And when we say about wanting a hug, I'll be like, because I'm quite affectionate, I'll be like, oh, I'll give you a hug. And I get like the shoulder in and like, Dad, leave me alone kind of thing. And I might come and see you just for a hug.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll be out.
But it's just that as the social side of the activities that we do, like, I am boring now, but I love walking my dog. I just get the most satisfaction in the world from walking the dog, putting a podcast on, escaping in a field, just walking, just little things.
But I think it's just a case of you find what you like to do.
Yeah, you do.
Who you want to be around, and you do find yourself. And I think that's why I try so many different things. I love to try everything at least once. I have to. I don't know. I just have to. I like to know.
Yeah.
And if I don't like it, won't do it again. If I do, great, I'll run with it. But I think that's also what I was alluding to before when it's talking about putting my whole self into something and being passionate about something. Is it was something I learned after my accident. And you said it earlier about not being afraid of what other people think, because I used to. When I look back on a lot of my earlier, I mean, I'm young still, but early 20s and even teenage years, I was so scared of what girls thought, what guys thought.
Girls can be cruel, can't they?
Yeah, I went to a girls' school. Yeah. But I was also scared about what guys thought. And if I was too much for a guy, or I was too this or too... And what I've since learned, and I've been working on a lot since my accident, is just be yourself, right? Love what you want to love, do what you want to do. If you have a bird watching app, but my point is,
brilliant.
Point is because the right people
Well,
will love you
Yeah.
for exactly the person you are.
Yeah.
They will love your quirks, your weirdness, your wonderfulness. They wouldn't want to change you. And I don't just mean relationships and partners. I mean
change for
friends.
anyone, should you?
I mean friends too. And the more you hold yourself back in any relationship, you're never truly letting the other person see who you really are.
No,
And that person's probably going to love you. And you know what? If they don't,
They're not the one, are they?
Absolutely.
let that person, and I'm talking about friends as well. I'm talking about any kind of
Well, your
relationship.
circle gets smaller as well the older you get,
Yeah.
doesn't it? Because I think you want to surround yourself with like-minded people, don't you? People that have got the same interests.
absolutely.
And it does get smaller. You don't want to hang about with people that are maybe living a certain life, going out all the time. And
I think, like you say, you find who are versions of yourself, don't you? Like, I've got a mate that I probably haven't seen for years, and we don't talk every day, but when we do talk, it's like, do you know what I mean? It's like we just pick up from where we last left off. But then there's other people that you kind of go, oh, I must ring them, and I must have a conversation with them, and like you force it, don't you?
Yeah.
But now I'm at an age where I just like, well, if you don't
like it, start off.
crack on,
But it all comes down to safety. It's finding the people that make you feel safe. But then I think that's also everything in life is, even with your platform, with Say It Loud, people clearly feel safe. You make people feel safe. And if someone feels safe on this planet to do anything, be whoever they want to be, you will actually get the best versions of themselves. And even if that's feeling safe while they're going through a breakdown, they feel safe to do that.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big part as well, where sometimes we do hold ourselves back because, you know, to overshare, let's say, or to talk about something, or even to cry because we don't feel safe. And as soon as we realize we're doing it, we're talking, we're crying, we clearly feel safe around that person. They've made us feel safe that we can do this.
It's good to be vulnerable.
Oh, it's really important to be vulnerable.
But for the anonymity part of that is a huge player for us, because it just removes anything that a guy's think, oh Christ, like I don't want to be found out, I don't want to be judged or anything like that. So as soon as you do that, and we say that we're almost like the gateway to therapy. We don't say we're going to fix anything, but if we can kickstart a lad into having a conversation and talking, when they then do sit opposite a therapist, they're kind of normal. It feels a little bit more normal because they've already had that conversation almost out there. Do you see what I mean? And that's all we're trying to do. Like it's someone explained it as it's a simple concept, and that's kind of stuck with us because it is simple. Like we haven't got any gimmicks. It's nothing like that. It's just get it out.
Someone described it in one of the first interviews that we did as modern day journaling.
Yeah.
And I think that is a really good way of summing it up.
Yeah. I mean, I can't write, and just drives me mad if I have to. And I look at my handwriting and I think, geez. But to talk it out, perfect.
Because journaling is something they say it gets your you know, gets your thoughts out on paper, and then you can, even if you read it, even when you start writing, it starts to flow. But it is talking as well.
The difference with that is that I think when you're talking, you have the breaks, you have the stutters, you have the emotion in writing or texting, and that's why we chose voice notes, because you get that rawness. You get, like, if I'm texting a mate and I'm thinking, oh God, I've like that text is a bit long, or should I run that through Gemini? So I
Do I need
really
to put a smiley face on the end to know that I'm actually okay with it?
And you do all that, but when you're talking, it's just like what we're doing now. Like there's almost no script to it. You just
Everything comes over.
Everything comes out, and it doesn't matter how long it is, how short it is, but you can hear it come out, and it just helps so much more.
It helps you process things, and it does. And even sometimes what someone says, because the way we think about whatever it is through our life.
Yeah.
But someone else can think about that same thing so differently. So sometimes you just need a different, you know, you might think of something in black and white, and they'll think of it in red. You just need a different color sometimes. And it doesn't say it's going to fix it overnight, but it just might alter something, and you go, haven't thought of it like that before.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Because the thing is as well is, when you're going through something, you feel like you're the only person in the world going through that. You just do.
Yeah.
And you have no idea that there's like so many other people in the world going through, if not very similar or even dissimilar stuff, but they're still going through other things. And it's amazing how lonely it can be with your own thoughts.
Yeah. That feeling that I had, and again, it's so fresh for me that you can't explain it, that you do feel so alone. You think no one's going to get me. And my biggest fear was, this is it now for me for the rest of my life. Yeah. Like if it happened to me again now, I'd be right. Okay. So there's a process of me getting through this. But at that point, I thought that was it. Like if that was it, there was no way I would have lived being like that. I would have 100% taken a route out. And I can see why guys do it, but it's a crazy stat when you think that the biggest killer of men under 50 is taking their own life. Forget the word suicide. They choose to take their own life. They're not dying of cancer. They've not got like things like that. It's a mindset that they've got, that they choose to take their life. And when you think about that, that is it's an unbelievable stat, isn't it?
It's got to be so low.
Because you are in such a dark place that that's your only option is to take your own life, and you haven't died of something that is potentially, like, I mean, it's a hard subject, but and I don't want it to come across the wrong way, but when I think of that destroys me, because you're in a spot where you can't find a way out, and you choose to take your own life. And what I've been looking into recently is there must be a reason. Like I've always looked for a reason in everything. Now, if a guy dies by suicide. Okay, we know that stat, like, but that's not the reason he died. That's the final act of something that's happened way before. So where is the link? Like,
What led him to?
yeah, what led him and all these other guys to that point? And surely, like, is it chemical imbalances? Is it
So again, I obviously have to say this every time. You know, I'm not
sure?
I'm not
Yeah.
a doctor
Oh,
at all.
yeah.
I read a lot of self-help books.
Yeah.
I'm spiritual. I love it. I find it so fascinating. But I've read a lot about that there can be chemical
Yeah.
imbalances, and when you're going through anything, that it does alter
Yeah,
the imbalances inside of you,
absolutely.
your hormones. It
And
does.
I think it's quite well publicised that women have the menopause, don't they? Men, I think we go through something as well. Testosterone levels drop.
But I think but that's an interesting point again to know. Obviously, women, just to put it out there, obviously, there's probably more men listening to this one, but obviously, women every month.
Yep.
It's a cycle, and even I'm learning about it. That it genuinely, there are so many different stages in that month. That men don't even realize.
No.
Yeah, even I'm still learning about it. But it changes a woman literally every week. The hormones can change and make you feel body. It's so much changes, but then. But that's I can only talk about women.
Yeah.
Because I know. But then men surely have
only
something.
it only takes a slight tweak, like a slight change. And we talked about midlife crisis.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a joke. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, blokes are always
Men
going,
will get his ear pierced.
yeah,
It's like, midlife crisis.
go and
isn't
buy
it?
a sports
Yeah, it's
car.
like women. They'll get haircuts during a bad breakup
that kind
and
of
things
thing.
like that.
But the midlife crisis is a real thing.
Yeah.
And it is a crisis in midlife. So that's something that I feel so passionately about that needs to be looked at more. And I've even gone through, like, when a guy dies by suicide, what is the process? What happens? Is there anything like in an autopsy that is looked at? And it's not. It's just to confirm how
Took his own life.
how he's took his own life. There's nothing to check back and go, well, let's look at the chemicals, let's look at those kind of things. And surely if suicide rates aren't coming down, there's something that we're not doing, which we have to do.
Gradual build up in it over time. It might start if we say, let's just take a number, 45 is the most common age.
Yeah.
They've not just woken up as a 45-year-old and thought, I'm going to take my own life today. At what point in their 30s, maybe earlier, is that happening? You know, we all carry trauma, which might be a player. But in terms of a chemical imbalance, like a lot of people say they're losing their masculinity because their testosterone levels are going, their hair's falling, big things like that, hair falling out, men going bald, men putting weight on because the metabolism's slowing up. All these things do affect men.
But I think I'm a perfect case for that because, like, I woke up suicidal. Nothing happened to me at night. Like, so something happened in my brain for that to happen, for that crash to happen. And again, if that can happen to me, and I don't want to scare anyone that's listening, but that is something that could happen to anyone because I'm not different. Do you know what I mean? Like, we're all built the same. And for that to happen to me is frightening. And I look at my 9-year-old boy, Fox, I always look back to him and think, that can't happen to him. I cannot let that happen to him, but I can't wrap him up in cotton wool for the rest of his life.
And that's where it's tough as a parent, isn't it? Because we insert our anxieties in our kids, things that scare us.
Yeah.
Like, children are born fearless, aren't they?
Yeah.
We then put into them what we're afraid of.
Yeah.
What is right, what is
But
wrong.
then is that then the start? Is that then the start of their journey? What we do to them? Do you know what I mean?
That's why you've got to be so careful, isn't it? It's hard. It's so hard.
I just wish they'd wash their hands when they come back from the park.
And they don't cross-contaminate their chicken and leave it out of the fridge for so long.
Wash your hands.
Yeah, but to be fair, when I go to an all-inclusive buffet, I have all the different cuisines.
Well, I wish I did have that problem on holiday and not eating.
I'll have the noodles. I'll have the noodles, the pizza, the pasta. I'll have it all on there.
There's that place in Norwich. It's the only place you can have a Chinese with a roast pudding and, like, you mix. Just get it all on.
Get it all on.
Get it all on. Yeah.
Gone hot.
We stopping services and waiting for some food. Yeah.
Yikes.
But Danny made a good point is, again, I can't speak on behalf of everyone, but a lot of the times it's a gradual build-up and you don't realise behind the scenes what's triggering you, what traumas you're holding on to, what's really affected you if you haven't processed, you said earlier, like if you don't process a breakup properly, or even a rejection from work or school, or sometimes you have no idea what these little things or big things are doing to you. And because a lot of the time you might cry it out, you might cry at home on your own about it, but you don't realize how they are affecting the neurons, literally the neurons in your brain.
And you know, the saddest thing that I've just thought about is it's often caused by another person.
What is?
This trauma that we go through, whether it's a breakup, anything. It's a lot of the time it is from the actions of.
But I think like what in an ideal world, and this is going to sound wrong, but it's okay, it's fine. I'd love to put Samaritans out of business. Could you imagine a world without needing a crisis centre like that guys deal with it all before, women deal with it all before, and it never gets to that crisis point. So with what we're trying to do with address those little bits, like you've had a bad day, you address it, you don't push it to the side. I had a guy, like a really dear friend of mine who died by suicide. I probably didn't deal with it. I dealt with it in my way of grieving, then going to the funeral, and that was it. But I didn't really talk about it after that, so I probably didn't process that. I lost my father, and probably looking back at it, may not have processed that because the crash happened to me. So that's all I can put it down to, that maybe things that I didn't deal with. So by having the platform and encouraging guys, no matter how big, no matter how small, just use it and talk about what you've been through. If you've had a breakup, if you've lost a job, if your sexuality's changed, and just talk about it. Like, just have a chat.
We need to normalise all these things, don't we?
Oh, and I think that it's getting to that stage now, but we're still a long way off.
Oh, God, yeah.
I think we have to normalize it before it gets to that crisis point.
Absolutely.
And it's like when I look at my accident, I believe that before my accident, there were clearly signs that I needed to change my life for, ways and, different shapes and forms. And I clearly wasn't listening to those signs because I can't tell you what they were. I clearly wasn't listening to the Talia, you need to go sort your life out.
Yeah.
And then I believe my accident happened for me. I believe it happened for me because it was completely out of my control. When I was losing control on the scooter, it was so out of my control. But I believe it happened because it was like, right, now you are at like the lowest of rock bottoms.
Yeah.
Like, physically as well. I could not physically even walk. I got two options. I could have either stayed in whatever this was I was in before, or without realizing, I could have taken one step to begin changing my life.
Yeah.
But again, it's this point where I would never wish that upon somebody. And I'm very lucky to be alive. I didn't have a helmet on. Like, I'm so lucky I'm alive right now, let alone running and walking and everything I can do.
That's crazy though, isn't it? Like, you think that could have ended so differently.
Yeah, I could have died that day.
Exactly.
I'm aware of that.
Yeah.
And I remind myself of that often. I think I need to. I'm like, I could have died that day. Like, and if someone else was in that position, they might have. The way I fell, the way I held my head when I fell.
Centimetre more that way.
Yeah. It could have been any way. But how it happened for me.
Yeah.
It happened exactly how it happened. And
Yeah.
this is the point, is I wouldn't wish that on anyone. And I don't want anyone to have to get to literally being forced to have an accident to change their life and to start going internally. And look, I'll be honest, I've seen the darkest corners of my mind, because I realised I can't live a specific way anymore. I need to sort whatever is going on out, like now. I need to start.
You could have gone through that and then gone back to doing exactly what you've done.
100%. I could have gone through the accident, got through my recovery and thought, we'll still live the way I lived. But I knew inside I didn't want to live how I was living anymore. I knew it, and I thought, I have to change my life.
Yeah.
I want to.
Yeah, and that's the same with us, isn't it? I think this has made me do things and has opened up doors for us. And I mean, we've had some incredible backing. And like I say, this is all organic for us, purely for the fact that we have no budget at the moment. We're going through charity registration, but it takes a while to do it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But we've had some amazing people come on board. So with the charity registration, you have to choose your trustees. We've picked people in specific areas that can help us succeed in this. But then through that, we've then had support through, we've got a lad helping us called Ian Haste, was this big YouTube sensation. But he's come on board with us because he believes in what we're doing. We've then had Joe Wicks. We've then had David Bentley. We've then had, do you know what I mean? We've had the guys from Rudimental. And it's like, for them to believe in what we're doing, but they don't. It's not just them believing in it; it's that they've been through something themselves as well. Like we had Fenners and David Bentley on Fenners' Lightroom podcast, and all of a sudden, without even telling them, asking them, they then start talking about Say It Lad. And then it's because they believe in what it does and how it can help people, and that's mind blowing to us, isn't it? That without doing this, things like that would never have happened. So it's great that we've found a purpose now. And again, coming back to that point, I think everyone has to have a purpose, and it gives you something. It gives you that belief that, right, I'm not just here to live out my life and just clock in at one end and clock out at the other end. I want to leave a legacy. I want to make a change and make a difference.
And I'm not just here to live with these thoughts and these feelings that I'm having that I just accepted as my way of life, because it's not your way of life.
Yeah,
and I think that's what's amazing with what you do is it's giving people that platform or that step to go, okay, I'm clearly not okay. I might have accepted this might be the way I'm going to live the rest of my life, but actually, you know what? It's not.
Yeah.
So if I begin this journey and begin this step, I'll start to see these tiny little micro moments and glimmers where actually, wait a sec, I can get through this headspace. I can get through these thoughts. I can get through these emotions, and I am going to be able to achieve things that I want.
Love glimmers.
They're little micro moments of your days.
I didn't know that.
Because you find like you go through your day and you go, oh, I felt a bit bad then, or I felt a bit bad then. But the glimmer is the bit where you don't. The glimmer is the bit where you go, everything drops and you go, I feel great. So then you focus on those points, and that's something that I've learned to do. And that's like, it's great, isn't it? You get to the end of the day rather than going, oh God, that happened. You know what I'm saying? But you have that glimmer, and it's like,
That glimmer
That's a
can
good
literally
point.
be having your favorite like food or coffee or you know, dessert
a
or
great part of the day.
Yeah, that one even that one
Not
part of the
called
day.
Yeah.
Yeah, micro moments. Or even
Dog
in-
walk.
Yeah,
There you go. And that's your glimmer.
in the car, listening to the music, and suddenly you feel that song that you love. Just even if it's a second in it, you feels amazing. And even if it then drops, you've had that feeling that day.
My glimmer last night, driving home, Insomnia. Faithless comes on the radio just as the sun's setting in the car. What a moment that was. You can edit that bit out.
It's better than Macarena.
Okay.
So I just wanted to ask you then, obviously, with everything you have with Say It Lad, from your own personal experiences, if someone came to you and they obviously said that they were in their dark space and they didn't know how to get out of it or what that first step was, in your own personal experiences, what would you say to them?
Okay. Mine is to listen to the guys on the wall, because the first part of not knowing that you're alone, that other people are going through it, and you're not, the things that you're thinking, they're not just what you're thinking. It's quite a normal thing to have those thoughts, those things that you're going through. And I think, like, don't shy away from it. I think if you do start to talk and you do accept it, then that's for me, that was the first part of my recovery, is to go, right, this is what I've got. It's not going to beat me. I'm going to work my way through it. And as soon as I found out that other people had been through similar things, just by talking to Danny, like, it was like, okay, like that's good. Well, how did you get through it? And then that sparks the conversation. So for me, it's just about accepting what you're going through and just take one day at a time. Like, it does get better.
And I think just realising you're not the only one. You're not. There's so many people going through. And I think, again, just referencing to the wall, go and listen. Listening is just one of them. I don't do. I probably talk more than I listen, to be fair. Whoa. But just listening, just going to that wall and listening to what people are going through.
Yeah.
Just realising that you're not the only one. Listening to how they help themselves. Listen to their struggles.
And I think when you've been through what we've been through, you have a connection with someone. Like, and it almost creates like this brotherhood, because when you speak to someone, that removes all barriers. Like, if you speak to a guy and he goes, oh, do you know what, I've felt a bit anxious, you instantly relate to that guy, and that whole macho kind of image then drops, because you're both having a conversation about something that you've both been through. And again, with what we've built, it's incredible. Like, people are saying, well, I want to reply to voice note 33, and they'll give their advice on that, or do you know what I mean? And it builds this kind of thing where all barriers are dropped and guys are just being guys and talking to each other and helping each other out. And because there is no there's no judgment, and with the anonymity, no one knows what their background is, what job they're in, like whether they've, some of the guys have been to prison, some of the guys have got multi-million-pound businesses, but that doesn't matter. Every mental health doesn't matter what your upbringing is, or what your walk of life is. It can affect anyone, and when it does, everyone is on a level playing field.
But that's the thing, it makes at the end of the day, everyone's a human being.
Yeah.
No matter who you are,
Absolutely.
what you do for a living, how
Yeah.
much money you make, no matter who and what,
Yeah.
you're a human being. We're all human beings at the end of the day. And we all think, feel, have emotions. You know, we all go through it. And again, we've been saying how we think some of the times how lonely we really feel and how alone we are in our issues. But there's someone out there.
It's more common to have, if you call it issues, it's more common to have those thoughts than it's not. Like I would love to go through life and not having to create Lad, which that would have meant that I would have never have felt how I felt, but I did. So now I don't want other guys to go through that.
Here we are
as well. And it's no, again, there's no, the good thing about the mental health industry is what we've found. There's some good things and some bad things. The good thing is there's no egos. So everyone that you speak to is like, amazing. Like, how can we help? How can we do more? And that's the nice part of it. The other part is not being able to get through to people that should be listening to the things that we've got and the data that we've got.
Red tape.
The unbelievable red tape.
The red tape.
Honestly, like
some of the football clubs that were like, oh, got to go through a process. Well, hang on a minute. You're telling us you want to help people. We're not asking for money. We're not asking for nothing. It's a sticker.
You're going to get us on our soapbox now, because this is a subject which drives
the
us
red
mad.
tape is just the biggest. Everyone loves to say they're an advocate of mental health, but when push comes to shove,
I tried to get in contact with someone who is very well known in the mental health like world. They're a celebrity. Tried to get through to him, and their response was, "Well, if we're interested, we'll let you know." I'm like, it's not something that you're interested in.
and you get a generic email reply.
This is something that can help people.
Yeah.
And if they could, and I get it, like they probably get hundreds of messages and emails a day, but if they could use their platform, and there are like Fennis and Bentley and the guys like that who have done way more than we would ever expected. If there was more people like them and like yourself to have us on here to help reach that one person that we might necessarily not have reached without you, that's amazing. But there's so many people that go, nope.
But that's one of the reasons I do this show is
Yeah.
you don't need to tell me if you're listening or you're watching or it's helped you through that day. If it's helped, then that's my job.
Brilliant, isn't it?
Brilliant. Yeah.
And that's the ripple effect. Like if everyone, people often say to us, well, how can we help? How can we get involved? And all as we say is, look, just tell one more person.
Yeah.
Tell one more person that doesn't know about us. And then that is how we can grow, because we've had messages from people saying, oh, your details have been passed on by such and such. And that's great, because we've reached that person that we couldn't get to just by the glorious algorithms that Instagram has that don't want to push things out
I'm going to
there.
get on my soapbox then.
Yeah,
You mentioned
but,
that.
but like we could do so much good, and again, I'm from that age where I was around before social media was, but to have to rely on a platform to help us reach people, you're almost like you have to do it, don't you? But it's then finding ways to grow, and for us, it's just growth and just getting
this whole word of mouth thing, and it spread the word.
Yep.
If you're going to do one thing after watching this, just
Well,
tell one person.
Because we would have never been able to get to New Zealand without social media or someone telling someone. So that's all it is. So for anyone that's listening, watching this podcast, if they just tell one person, if they've got a mate that's struggling, just send them the web link. They don't need to do anything else. It's just sayitloud.com, send them that and let them discover it and see, because it's pretty simple. I mean, I designed it. I'm a pretty simple bloke. So it's not crazy. It's just, you're on
within
there.
3 clicks, you can leave a voice note, can't you?
Yeah.
It's the simplicity of it. There's no faff. Is the word? No faff.
But that's it.
Just
It is
simple.
It is simple. It is 2 clicks. It's not 7 or 8 clicks.
we've not overcomplicated anything, have we?
No, not at all. Not at all. Tried to keep it dead simple, and that's how it'll always be. There'll never be a sign-in section. There'll never be a cost to it. It's never been about that, because again, we always put ourselves back in those situations and go, right, what would we use? And it has to be that our platform that
Yeah.
we stay relevant to. And if it was, oh no, we're going to introduce a paid area, or it started looking too corporate, we'd switch off. So even though we have got charity status, it was something that we pushed back on so much because, again, with a charity comes a certain stigma of it's very plain playing it safe and they're abided by all these rules. But we've got charity status just so we can start applying for grants and things like that. Everything else we do, we kind of sit outside of that to appeal to,
And I think
to everyone.
like we've not had really any negative feedback, which is mental, really, isn't it? Like,
I don't see why you would.
because there's always
yeah,
there's always voices somewhere, isn't there?
always,
People will always find fault in something.
Yeah, you're
So
right. I'm
it's
thinking actually.
the only reason I think we're going for charity status is because people have said to us, "How can I help? How can we donate?" Like it wasn't on our radar. We didn't set this up to think, "Let's be a charity. Let's do that." We didn't. It's came around because people want to help us and they want to donate to us, and we're having to turn them away, aren't we? Like
At the moment, yeah.
people wanting to do marathons, and next time you do your half, you can do it.
Or we did just have a guy who done an ultra marathon and ran 106 kilometres in
I'm not
24
doing
hours.
that.
Oh, well, we can find something for
We
you to
can
do.
find something else.
We'll find something.
106 kilometres. That's still
Yeah.
like I can't even do count
24
5K.
hours. 24 hours. He done 106 kilometres, and
Okay.
Bonkers.
yeah. So people are wanting to do so much to help us, and we've created such a lovely community, haven't we? As Johnny said, a brotherhood. But again, quickly, it's not just all about the men. Women played a big part in what we're doing, identifying signs. You know, you spoke about your missus, haven't you? Who's helped you through it, and women often can see signs in men
Yeah.
to flag.
Women have been a huge advocate, haven't they? Because again, you've got the guy who's master of disguise that's not said anything, but the wife, the partner, the girlfriend can see it and has said, well, try this. And my sister is one of our biggest advocates, is she flies the flag. Do you know what I mean? She's like everything about it.
Got girls buying the t-shirts,
Yeah.
wearing it, spreaded the word. Brilliant.
But that to me, my sister can reach people that I can't reach. So she'll reach her friendship group, who will then pass it on to their partners and stuff like that. So yeah, even though it is, say it lad, it's so accessible for women to help, and they do.
Yeah.
You do.
Yeah.
And I think just on that point with regards to men and women, and you're talking just about partners, is, you know, sometimes with men, they feel that they don't want to, again, burden their partner or make them feel weaker or less alpha male or too emotional. But I can't speak on behalf of a lot of women, but I like it.
Yeah.
I like vulnerability. I want you to talk to me. I want you, because I'll talk to you the whole time.
Yeah.
So, but ironically,
yeah.
men sometimes, obviously not speaking on behalf of everyone, but a lot of the time I find that men sometimes do feel more worried to share to a woman.
Absolutely.
But actually, the irony is we want you to. We like that vulnerability of what you think is weakness, because it's not weakness. I think it's strength. And being vulnerable,
Yeah.
you know, it's amazing.
I think maybe in 30, 40 years that will become natural. But at the moment, you've still got like parents that aren't from that kind of generation. So they've installed it into people like myself not to talk about it, whereas I'll install it into my son that it is okay to talk about it. So I think that you kind of see.
I think the generation that are now coming up, for all the criticisms they get with social media and all that, I think we are seeing a lot of young boys and girls being a lot more open, being able to express themselves. You know, that I think, like you said, the next 30, 40 years, I think we will see a shift. And we're not, and the phrases like "man up," crack on with it, pull your big boy pants up.
Even I don't like it when someone says that to me. When the people tell me to crack on with it, and I'm like, what happens if I don't want to crack on with it?
Exactly.
And you leave a voice note.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. I just think this generation, for all the criticisms they get, for all the bad press they get, I think
Definitely.
they are doing a lot of good. And
there is a lot of change. There is a lot of change, but it's so slow and it's so gradual.
Yeah.
And again, because the suicide rates aren't changing, like for everything that's happening out there, men are still taking that route, and that
it's still on the up.
That's an emergency.
Yeah,
Like
totally.
it has to be looked at. And it has to be dealt with quicker. And through us being who we are, and we are the only platform in the UK, and as far as I can see, worldwide, that are using voice notes for mental health, anonymous voice notes for mental health. Yeah. Again, what we can help with is huge. Like, we just want people to come to us and say, right, let's use that. And again, we are having early talks with the Premier League. Like, they have bought into what we've got, and the safeguarding team there are phenomenal. They're really welcoming. And they are talking about us being part of the second phase of the Prevention Against Suicide campaign. But that's what we want. We want people to believe in what we can give them, as well as having the space for the guys. But these guys are the ones that need the help, and they're almost giving you the language and the markers and everything to help them. So to ignore it is crazy. Do you know what I mean? It's like I just can't process that.
That's the most frustrating thing. That there's a lot of banging on doors. There's a lot of rejection. We're used to that, aren't we? We work in sales, so you're used to that. But we just keep going. We keep knocking on the doors. We keep spreading the word.
But rejection is redirection. I have to tell myself that a lot. Don't worry.
But
it is.
Yeah.
Every rejection is just a reroute.
I think we'll get to the position where people that have rejected us will come back.
Hope so. Hope so.
Well, you hear a lot about some most amazing people in the world were rejected early on, and someone believed in them eventually.
Yeah. Yep. And that's all we need. That's like, for us to kind of really progress, that's what we need. We just need someone that can, like, not take us to the next level, but someone who believes in what we're doing and the data that we have got and how it can help people. Like, just give us 5-10 minutes.
We know what we've got
Yeah.
is working. And we just
Well, it is working. We've got proof of it. Do you know what I mean? It's like people are leaving voice notes daily. People are messaging us saying how much it's helped. People have said that it's saved their life. Like we've got people like screaming from the rooftops, like about what we're doing and how it has helped them. And it just needs, and again, that's how it just needs to go further and grow bigger.
Yeah.
But even to hear that you have people saying it saved their life.
Oh, that's mind blowing. Absolutely mind blowing. And again, we don't kind of put all that stuff out there. If it does and it helps someone, amazing. Like, and then they will then go on to perhaps start their own thing or to tell a mate about us, and then it goes even further from there. But yeah, it's crazy when you get a message that says that.
Yeah.
Well, sounds like it's the beginning of an amazing journey. So
Thank you. Yeah, hope so.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much, guys, for coming on today.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us. It's been great.
Thanks for having us.
Perfect.
Thank you for being here today. Life will knock us down, sometimes hard and sometimes more than once. And when it feels impossible, know that your story isn't over yet. Sometimes when everything is falling apart, it's really falling into place. You have the power to rise, to heal, to make magic, and to evolve. And you have the power inside you. We all do. You have the power to get back up.